10 civilizations that vanished without a trace. Civilizations rise, empires expand, and history leaves behind monuments, ruins, and records. But not every society followed that pattern. Across the world, archaeologists have uncovered evidence of advanced civilizations that didn't slowly decline. They didn't leave clear records, and in some cases, they vanished so completely, it's as if they were erased. No final battles, no written explanations, just empty cities, abandoned tools, and unanswered questions. Today, we're opening the curious vault to explore 10 civilizations that vanished without a trace, and why their disappearance still puzzles historians today. Let's begin. 10. The Indus Valley Civilization. At its peak, the Indus Valley Civilization was one of the most advanced societies of the ancient world. It featured massive cities like Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa, complete with grid-based streets, drainage systems, and standardized bricks. Yet around 1900 BCE, the civilization quietly declined. There's no evidence of invasion, no signs of widespread war, and no known written records explaining what happened. Some theories suggest climate change or shifting rivers disrupted agriculture. Others believe long-term drought slowly forced the population to disperse. But the truth is, for a civilization so advanced, its disappearance was eerily silent. 9. The Minoans. The Minoans ruled the island of Crete thousands of years ago and were masters of art, architecture, and maritime trade. Their palaces had plumbing, vibrant murals, and complex layouts centuries ahead of their time. Then, around 1600 BCE, they vanished. A massive volcanic eruption on nearby Thera may have triggered tsunamis and environmental collapse. But even after the eruption, evidence suggests the Minoans continued for generations. Eventually, their cities were abandoned, their language lost, and their identity absorbed into history. No clear explanation remains. 8. The Ancestral Puebloans. In the American Southwest, the ancestral Puebloans built vast stone cities carved directly into cliffs. Places like Mesa Verde and Chaco Canyon once housed thousands of people. Then, by the late 1200s, they were suddenly abandoned. Homes were left intact, tools remained behind, even cooking vessels stayed where they were. Extended drought likely played a role, but the speed and scale of the departure still raise questions. Where did they go? And why did they leave everything behind? 7. The Hittite Empire. The Hittites were once one of the most powerful empires of the ancient Near East, rivaling Egypt itself. They had iron weapons, complex laws, and vast trade networks. Then, around 1200 BCE, their cities were destroyed and abandoned almost simultaneously. Some blame invading groups known as the Sea Peoples. Others suggest internal collapse or famine. But the speed of the Hittite disappearance suggests something sudden and catastrophic. Within decades, an empire simply ceased to exist. 6. The Olmecs, often called the mother civilization of Mesoamerica. The Olmecs created massive stone heads weighing several tons. They developed early writing, religious symbolism, and urban planning. Then, around 400 BCE, their major cities were deserted. No clear cause has ever been identified. Environmental changes, volcanic activity, or internal conflict have all been suggested, but none fully explain their disappearance. Despite influencing later civilizations like the Maya and Aztec, the Olmecs themselves faded into mystery. 5. The Nabateans. The Nabateans controlled desert trade routes and built the legendary city of Petra, carved into solid rock. They mastered water collection in one of the harshest environments on Earth. Yet by the 4th century CE, Petra was largely abandoned. Trade routes shifted, earthquakes damaged infrastructure, and the civilization slowly disappeared from historical records. A people who thrived in the desert simply walked away. 4. The Khmer Empire. The Khmer Empire constructed Angkor, one of the largest religious complexes ever built. Its city supported hundreds of thousands of people through advanced water systems. Then by the 15th century, Angkor was abandoned. Climate instability, floods, droughts, and political pressures likely strained the system beyond repair. Once the water failed, the empire followed. Nature reclaimed the city, and the civilization vanished. 3. The Cahokia Civilization. Near modern-day St. Louis once stood Cahokia, the largest city in pre-Columbian North America. It featured massive earth mounds, complex trade networks, and a population rivaling medieval European cities. By 1350 CE, it was abandoned. Deforestation, social unrest, or climate shifts may have contributed, but no single cause explains the sudden collapse. Cahokia disappeared without leaving written records, leaving historians to piece together fragments. 2. The Mycenaeans. The Mycenaeans dominated Greece during the Late Bronze Age and inspired legends like the Trojan War. They built fortified cities and controlled powerful armies. Then, around 1200 BCE, their civilization collapsed almost overnight. Earthquakes, invasions, internal conflict, all are possibilities. What followed was a centuries-long dark age where literacy vanished. An entire civilization fell, taking its history with it. 1. The Maya collapse. The Maya were masters of astronomy, mathematics, and architecture. They built towering cities deep in the jungle and tracked celestial movements with astonishing accuracy. Yet between 800 and 900 CE, many major Maya cities were abandoned. Drought, environmental stress, warfare, and political collapse may have all played a role. But there was no single catastrophic event. Instead, the Maya world unraveled, city by city, leaving behind temples swallowed by the jungle. These civilizations remind us that even the most advanced societies are fragile. Knowledge can be lost, cities can disappear, and history doesn't always leave answers behind. If you enjoyed opening the Curious Vault today, consider subscribing for more mysteries, forgotten histories, and unexplained truths. Because some civilizations vanished, and some secrets were never meant to be found.